All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back once again to another very special edition of Red Pill News. As always, my name is Zak Payne, the corruption detector, and joining me today is not Chris Burris, even though it says it on screen. We'll fix that in a second. My good friend Patty Greer from ESS60. Patty, how are you today? Good to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you. And had I put on my glasses, I would have noticed my name is not my name. But that's okay. That's my partner, and they make me so proud because we bring a product direct from our lab that nobody else can say. Nobody in the world can say direct from their lab except us because we're the only ones making the good stuff, other than Wuhan, China, that makes industrial grade C60 for all the companies that are selling online, which is really sad because we've tested industrial grade C60 from China. And years ago, they found that it had glass shards, like little teeny
Ooh,
pieces. Really not a good idea to buy from China
I guess
anymore,
glass
which we
is
know.
technically carbon, but it's a different form, right? I mean, like, you obviously do not want to be ingesting. That's like a quick way to kill yourself, ingesting glass shards.
It's an interesting world right now, and I have the greatest respect for you and all the influencers because as the corruption detector, I don't even know how you hold your hands up with that much corruption as we've found in the last 4 months that we've had a real president.
Yes.
I think the greatest thing that was said was we don't need to change policies, we need to change presidents.
Absolutely. And I think that if anything, we need to get rid of a lot of useless policy, such as Doge has obviously been doing. And as we've seen Bobby Kennedy and the new HHS beginning to do as well, stripping back things that were put in place that obviously harmed people.
Yeah.
Recently, since the last time you were on the show, Bobby just got a deal done to get rid of all the artificial dyes in food and in edible products. That's huge. I mean,
Huge.
yeah, it was funny, like, when they announced it and watching the mainstream media try to like question it and like I guess sort of challenge it, right? Like, I mean, oh, is this actually happening, or are you just saying that you're going to do this? But in the announcement, he said that as soon as they basically got elected and Bobby had been confirmed, the food companies came directly to him and they were like, we already know you want to do this. Like, let's just get it done. Let's all work together to make sure that we're taking the poison out of foods. And, I mean, we're barely 3 months into this administration, and there have been so many exciting things, so many objectively good things, which are going to advance health and safety for Americans across the board, regardless of, your socioeconomic status or your race or the location in the country. It doesn't matter. It's good for everybody. And to see the mainstream media try to downplay any of that is just unfathomable to me. President Trump said something in his State of the Union address. He was like, I could come up here and say I cured cancer and you wouldn't clap. They couldn't clap because
No.
if he does anything good, if Bobby does anything good, it's immediately something that they have to challenge. And I'm so excited looking forward to the future because everything else that's coming up next, I am just eagerly anticipating having the opportunity to report on. And, actually, I did want to ask your opinion on this, Patty, because there have been a lot of people recently that have been trying to suggest that Bobby is somehow compromised and that he's not doing enough. And so that must mean that somebody is controlling him. But I'd like your opinion, but, from my perspective, the behemoth of the federal government is so corrupt. It's endemic and it exists throughout every facet. The cleanup process is massive in and of itself, right? So like, I mean, how fast can you actually go when you're working with some corruption of this size? So I don't know. I just want to know your opinion on it.
Well, you're asking the right person because I actually know the person that toured with Bobby for the last few years.
Okay.
Friend, and I got a bunch of hats from the tour. See the one on top of my crystal, Make America Healthy Again. I sent you
Yep.
one because
Yep.
you're on my short list. I also have hats that say Kennedy 2024.
Hmm.
I mean, I've got like collector's items, things that I don't really need because I don't wear hats very often.
For sure.
But what I'm watching is, and I watch way too much. And the reason is because I take C60 Evo. My brain is so on fire that I feel like I don't know how I sleep. and I go down, boom, I'm out cold. I do 5 hours and then I wake up and my brain is like, okay. And it's like, no, 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 no. So I do my sleep tea and I go right back to sleep for another 4 or 5 hours. So I get great sleep, but I accept the fact that I wake up after 5 hours and my brain is back on fire. Now, with C60 Evo, I want to say that I have sent this to Bobby Kennedy Jr. Let me get the labels turned around. But I have sent him our collection set 3 different times. The first time I sent it, his wife kind of held it up on the desk. The second and third times we knew better, which was we had to send it, we had to have the products blessed in a church for Bobby, which is really interesting, authentic wisdom piece for him to choose is that everything has been blessed, everything is what he would consider more safe and sacred, but it also came through his tour guide from me directly, handed it to him the first time. So, yes, I think Bobby Kennedy Jr. is definitely on the right road. Of course, he's had a history of philandering, and who hasn't in the
Yeah.
political realm.
Yeah.
But to focus on that rather than making America healthy again is the intention of the loser party. And the loser party is Dems and reps.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like one party is a whole lot better than the other. Well, no, that's not true. The Dems have really fallen off the deep end. They're
They,
basically a sewer.
they
But
have.
the fact that we still have them in our Congress and Senate is what's holding up this country.
Hmm.
The fact that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is taking C60 Evo, I think that he's got an advantage over other people. And I have offered repeatedly to send a free, they only get a 4 ounce bottle, not
Hmm.
8 or 16 or 32. But I've been willing to send the entire Congress and Senate free frickin' C60 Evo because, in my opinion, it cleans the mitochondria so thoroughly that your brain can't lie anymore. I mean, I scare myself because I scare other people. I'm so honest about what's going on. And when people say, oh, the migrants aren't killing people in Denver, you are just listening. It's like I just nod and I say, well, there it is. Your understanding. And I just go away because I really choose to use my energy on intelligent people now.
Hmm.
And I really tell the difference when I look at all these shows and all these different influencers, including you, the people that take Evo are so present and centered and not yelling like, some of them. And we did have a comment from a show we did recently of a lady that saw some doctor saying C60 Evo is toxic, it's graphite. It's graphene. What is it? Graphene oxide. I mean, all these words, nano, that means terrible things. And this person with the name Dr. somebody, which anybody can pretend, like Jill
Hmm.
Biden. And maybe she got a degree in something, but ain't no doctor. Or Joe might have not had to suffer so much in front of the world. But what I'm saying is, we've got a medical broken system, so obvious. We've got a political system broken to death. And Trump came in, like you said, to a monster sewer. And when our listeners, yours and mine, say nothing's happening, they're not making arrests, I've got to say, double up your Evo and watch a little more carefully because stuff is going down.
Hmm.
And stuff is a polite word to say, shiat is going down. I'm
Yes.
watching because I watch so much. And even when I get up in the middle of the night and do my little tea, I watch more news. And I spend half the time just looking at titles of stories
Hmm.
because I want to know what's happening. But then I look at some of the influencers that are clearly psyop
Hmm.
dudes and ladies, and they're just paid to lie. And they'll put out a little tidbit of truth, but then they swallow it up with a bunch of crap, and everybody's going around confused, except me.
Hmm.
So I will really try and help people see the big picture because it's probably the most difficult time in human history right now. And imagine, Zach, in 3 years, 2 years, one, when we look back at what we just lived through, it might be the most historic change in American history, where a clan of demons came in and tried to poison the entire world. And they almost got caught, so they threw it over to Wuhan, where they love doing that stuff. So here we are. We're 4 years after this pile of lies. A lot of people got the thing in the arm and now they're really suffering.
Mm-hmm.
People are dying left and right, and that's hurting society because everybody's losing people. I
Yes.
went to a funeral 2 weeks ago, and I was probably the only Trump lover there. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to say it. I love Trump because I love America. I love freedom. I don't love his arrogance, his conceit, his redundancy. I mean, all the things that people use to hate him is really manufactured by the PSYOP team.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had mental clarity, you're not going to fall for it. And I think that that's what's the most important thing to me now about getting C60 Evo out to the world. This is a mind-boggling product. I used to make UFO films. They tried to kill me twice. Literally, that's how I discovered Evo. I was in a cabin alone after I got hit with a directed energy weapon. I was scared to death because I thought they were going to completely take me out. Then somebody brought me a sample of Evo, and it was a crappy company selling. He wasn't even a company. He was just out of the back of his car, but he bought the good stuff from Chris
Mm-hmm.
from the lab in Texas. So I took a spoonful and I was like, wait, what? I feel better. And that's how I discovered C60 Evo. Was that I just kept taking this hippie guy's bottle, and then I went to some Wizard Fest in Colorado, and another guy gave me a sample, and he was buying his product from our lab. So both of these products were like, huh, but they were made in a garage, with an Amazon stirring thing, basically a trash can stirring. And but it still hit my body and went, wow, I resonate with this. So I reached out to Chris and I said, we should be partners. And he goes, you? Pat Greer, you're the reason we're getting all these calls. C60, we've been making 30 years and we make it for industrial purposes. And all of a sudden now, why are people calling and saying, how much should I take? So they were stunned, like, why are we getting all these calls? And then people started saying my name. So when I called, he was like, we know exactly who you are. And I said, well, I know exactly who you are. I want more of this stuff. And I think we should be partners because I do a lot of shows. There's no good products online except yours. And so we founded C60 Evo in 2019, right after I got poisoned by uranium. And Chris isn't here, so I'm just going to say it. It was a C60 guy that put uranium in my garage. It was one of the creeps that gave me a sample. I'm
Wow.
just going for it because the truth is, the industry is full of demons. Like, we are no better than the government.
Absolutely.
That's C60, and that's why Chris and I created ESS60, which is a completely upgraded product. It's no longer industrial for tires, batteries, solar, photocells. What was the other one? Ink.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we sold our C60 for, and that's the quality of what, unfortunately, a lot of people are selling today. So you want to look for ESS60, which stands for elemental safe spheres with 60 carbon atoms. And what that is the cleaner version specifically made for people and pets. And we would have never done it except in 2012. They were saying, why are people starting to take this product to their body because it's for ink and batteries? We don't want that. So they did a study on toxicity of C60 at the Paris University, and they took our product as a sample. C60 Evo organic olive oil. Now, anybody else claiming that their product delivers the results from this test is lying. We deliver the product, and this is what it is right here, this formula, C60 Evo olive oil. So they gave it to rats, and it was called the 2012 Paris Bati study, Baati, if people want to look it up. You'll see a title, The Prolongation of Life of Rats,
Mm-hmm.
because they used Wistar rats in a lab, and it wasn't toxic. In 2012, our product turned out that the lab rats lived 90% longer, which is the longest longevity results of any test subject in history. 90% life extension is massive. Plus, they died without tumors,
Mm-hmm.
any. And this was the first time in history, again, that lab rats were tested with any product and they had no tumors. It was like, wait, what? Now we have to be careful. We never claim that we're curing the big C.
Mhm.
I just have to say it's a coincidence that we sell it to five big C clinics cases, and they do it for daily protocol. My guess is they wouldn't keep reordering if they weren't seeing results, but I have to be careful of making claims.
Yes.
On the other hand, I sure take it for that reason. I don't really want to live to be 150 unless I really do anti-age to the point of magnificence. Well,
I love it.
there's so many demons in the world. I'm not sure I want to go 150, but as we clean it up, thanks to you, thanks to our company, thanks to a lot of good people, we're going to see, I think, the best world that's ever been.
I completely agree with you. And on that note, Patty, you just mentioned the life extending properties, and you just so happened to send me over a picture of your mom. You want to set this
Yep,
up for the audience? I'm going to show the audience what your mom looks like, but you've talked about her on a number of occasions. She's going
I
to be
have.
96 this year. Okay. Now, 96 is a fairly good lifespan for just about anybody on planet Earth. And people do live longer than that. It's rare. But usually, if you get to be 96 years old, if you're lucky enough to be 96 years old, your body's taking a beating, right? I mean, like you're not running around and acting like you're still in your 40s. But please tell us a little bit about your mom before I pull this picture up, because when you showed me the picture, I was like, holy geez, I wasn't expecting her to be in this good shape.
I know. The picture was 3 days ago on Cinco
Okay.
de Mayo, 2025. She will be 96 in 10 days. 10 days
Uh,
from today, not late in the year, but she's almost 96. And I'm going to go out and celebrate her birthday with her. But man, when she runs low on C60 Evo, she lets me know. And I always send her a good sized bottle, and she has a helper who makes sure it goes in her on her spoon or in her morning coffee. She'll do the coconut oil, which is my favorite.
mhm.
So the coconut oil is literally half as strong as the olive, so I do twice as much because they both work, and I really care about having energy and mental focus. So my mom at 96 almost, still reads volumes like books. She'll go to the library. She was on her way to the library in that photo. And she walks down to get her mail and she goes to the library, gets another novel, takes it home, reads it in a couple days, remembers what it says. Some people say, well, she probably doesn't have any. It's like, well, maybe you don't. She does because she takes C60 Evo. So her helper that comes 5 days a week started saying she's stunning the doctors. She actually just went for a blood test, and the doctor told me that she is younger blood than 2 years ago, and they're absolutely stunned by her.
Wow.
And I thought, show them, but doctors don't want to hear it. They're
Yeah.
still in the old paradigm of whatever. I don't even want to say the old paradigm, but it's not healing people. We are about helping people heal themselves, and this product really works. So the lady that helps her was so impressed. I said, I'm sending an extra bottle for you. Take it home, take it every day. And the next time I talked to her, she's 50 maybe.
Mhm.
She said, Patty, I have never been without migraines. Now I'm finally without migraines.
That's great. That's great.
Last
Yeah, we've
week.
actually talked about this before too. I haven't had migraines in, I can't even tell you the last time I've had it. But yeah, this is one of the only things that I've done differently in my routine on a daily basis. Now, your mom easily looks 30 to 40 years younger than 96. I mean,
God.
well, by the time you get to 96, like, I mean, I remember my grandmother, my great grandmother was 92 when she passed away. And it was obvious she was 92. I mean, like she had like crippling arthritis, people stop moving, they start to kind of hollow out. Your mom has excellent posture. I mean, she's not like she doesn't look like she's losing collagen. I mean, just everything about her. I mean, she just looks like she is in great shape, like she is moving around and you can tell. It's
Yeah.
pretty neat.
Well, my stepsister, who keeps funneling me the photos of my mom and astounding me, she finally got on it. And now she's going, oh, I had no idea. So I have a friend who I gave capsules to. And these are a lot of people's choice because they don't want to put olive oil on a spoon in their mouth.
Hmm.
So you take some capsules instead. You take six a day or one spoonful. I prefer spoonful. And if you don't like the taste of really good peppery olive oil, chase it with water because it's really good peppery. It's not Costco olive oil, which
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say the people that sell C60 are buying at Costco. So these capsules are rocking for people that travel, but I think that it makes such a difference mentally, physically, emotionally with everybody I've given it to. And my one woo-woo friend who's all spirit and organics and everything, and she gardens and grows her own food, she finally tried the capsules. And she said, how many? And I said, six a day. And she goes, I'll start with one. She calls me 4 hours later. She goes, what the hell is this, crack? And I said, what are you talking about? How many did you take? 10? She goes, one. I just cleaned my entire garage, start to finish.
That's great.
Really? He said, you have no idea how long I've wanted to do this. She calls me the next day. She goes, okay, the crack is killing me. I am so energized. I just cleaned my closet and every drawer. Patty, this doesn't happen. And I said, well, you better not go six because the normal dose, you'll probably end up in Mars. Who knows? This is the funniest thing is that people that are close with me that I've offered free samples to that have kind of stalled, all of a sudden they get on it and they're like, and I waited, why? So I don't have much else on my bathroom counter. I've got the facial serum, which I use every day and night, and I've got the body cream, and they're both infused with our ESS60, which is the upgraded carbon 60 fullerenes. And the facial serum is why my mom, her skin is like butter. No, she didn't have a facelift. She had an Evo lift. Body cream. This was probably my most frustrating product because I'm so picky about chemicals and scent. So I worked on the formula with my formulator and we went for citrus. Oh God, it smells so good. But the
Yeah.
first version came out. And because we are a real lab compared to, shall we say, the rest of the industry, we wait 4 months for the concentration level testing and the endurance test. So I waited 4 months. I sniffed the product. I rubbed it on my hands and I went, oh, I don't like the smell. And my formulator said, do you really want to wait 4 more months? And I said, no. Can't you just fix the smell? The product works. And she goes, no, you're a real lab. So I sacrificed 4 more months and didn't have this last Christmas to give people to sell. But C60 Evo advanced, or it's not advanced, it's tangerine and ESS60 rich body cream. The smell is so good.
It's delicious.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And the reason that I care so much about scent is that aromatherapy actually affects the mind, the body, the spirit. So when you've got citrus, tangerine of all, it's this essence of happy. And I worked with an aromatherapy expert when I do my formulas. And so we have the tangerine and citrus in the body cream because you put it on and you just kind of smile. You smell like a fruitcake. You probably like one too. And this is rosemary essence, and most people really love it. I think 1 out of 100, maybe I get like, oh, it's so strong. Look at the light coming off that. Can you
Yeah, it's
see?
pretty sweet. Yeah.
Ooh, magic.
It's like what's that Mayan pyramid that has
It's
the
Anita.
yes, with the laser beam coming out of it.
I was there on 11/11. I was there in
Oh,
2012. I
sweet.
mean, and light was coming in all places. But this formula for the skin is 21 natural, organic, and vegan ingredients. You can let your pet lick it off you, and they usually do if you put it on your hands. A lot of people have said really great for youthing your hands, but it's fabulous for your skin. And when I first presented it to my partners, three guys in a lab, they were like, yeah, facial serum, whoa, whoa, we're a bunch of guys. No, thank you. Next thing I know, They said, well, okay, maybe. And I said, no, I'm serious. What I've been doing every day, I take my spoonful, rub my hands around it, put it on my face, rub the stuff off the spoon, put it on my face, and all of a sudden, my 50,000 miles on my Harley with no windshield uh, started like softening. And now my skin is looking like, what a weird thought, looking like my mom's.
There you
But
go.
my mom, she'll always be that much older than me, but we both have really soft, rejuvenated skin because we take the C60 Evo, all natural formula. And it comes in this beautiful box, which really cracked me up, that the three tough guys in the lab came up with this beautiful box. I did the lyrics, which is revive, replenish, rejuvenate. But what a beautiful gift. And yeah, so the guys at the lab really gave in. Next thing I know, Chris calls me and he says, all right, well, the facial serum is selling so well and people are raving about it, and all the guys are using it at the lab. Our skin is improving. So we actually have been testing peptides, and we found a specific one with 30 years of research called UTH29. We registered and copyrighted it. And now we have two facial serums. This one has peptides. And when he told me the ingredients, I said, no emulsifiers. So that's why we have two bottles. This is a lotion, this is an oil, basically water based and an oil based. You can't mix them unless you put in a bunch of crappy chemicals,
Mhm.
which we choose not to do. So it's two bottles. You do one pump of this in your hand, two drops of this for however much you want, or two pumps and four drops, but it's 1 to 2, and you activate fresh in your hand and you put it on your face. I love them both. I don't know which one is better, but I'm usually in a hurry. And so I like the single. Plus, it's all natural, organic, vegan, and it smells like heaven to me.
Mhm. It does smell
And
really good.
the reason for the rosemary is it takes your dreams into a higher frequency.
Mm.
It's what my formulator, who's also the aromatherapist master, said. Let's go rosemary. If you're doing it at night,
Mhm.
fabulous for your sleep and takes your dreams into, like I said, higher frequencies. In the morning, it's refreshing, it's potent, and I always find because it smells so good that I breathe it in and then I put it on. So I don't use other products. I don't use all those layers of stuff that a lot of women use. When you look at the ingredients of those layers, if you can't pronounce them, it's probably not natural.
Oh yeah.
When you put ours on, you don't have to worry about any of that. And you don't have to do layers. You just dose it on, and halfway through the day, if you're out in hot sun, you dose it again. And when you get out of your shower at night, you put it on. And they found that the formulas worked so well. Next thing I know, the flu thing came in to America 5 years ago, and the needles in the arm thing came in 5 years ago, and everybody's losing their hair. I kept hearing about it. And all of a sudden, I went to Adele Bigtree speak in Boulder, and the whole back row got COVID. Wow, what a surprise. Ooh, did I say that word? We all got the flu. And it was the only time I've been sick in probably 10 years. I just don't get sick. And so my hair was like, I was like, what is that on the drain? A huge spider? No, it's my hair. So, oh crap. And so that flu thing really did hurt people's hair. And the thing in the arm, needless to say, hurt
Oh yeah.
everything. So I didn't do any of those, thank God. But I called Chris and I said, we need to do a hair formula because everybody is blah, blah, blah. And they said, consider it done. We've already got it. So we also have this C60 Evo Youth. No, this is called Hair Renewal Duo.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing, one squirt, two drips, and you put it on in the shower at night. When you're done washing your hair or taking your shower, you take your nails, you scratch your scalp and wake up all the cells, and then you activate in your palm and you put it on, go to sleep, don't wash it out. And it took me 3 weeks. I haven't lost a hair since.
Very good. Very
I
good.
check my drain, it's like, wow, not even one.
That's perfect. Obviously, the last thing that anybody wants is to be losing their hair, but I mean, it happens, especially to men as you get older. And certainly women don't want to be losing their hair because a lot of them take pride in their hair. That's like the worst thing that can possibly happen to you. So, so you said
Oh, I
that's
think
also.
there's worse things.
Oh well, okay, okay, okay.
Like to
Obviously,
see
maybe it's
the
the worst thing that can
see-thing.
happen to a man.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not one.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
though a lot of people that look like women are men,
yep,
I think that's going to be minimized also as we awaken as a species.
yeah.
But Bobby Kennedy Jr. is, let's say, here's Bobby, here's Rachel Levine, or Mrs., or Admiral, or Doctor, or King, Queen, It.
Hmm.
And then there's Bobby.
Yep.
Now, for people to talk about Bobby had an affair with somebody years ago, or Bobby has a freckle behind his ear, so he's probably, that's really all they've got.
Yeah, yeah. And
Bobby has been working really hard to make America healthy.
absolutely. And you can't really use something against a person who has been honest about the mistakes that they've made in their life. I don't think that Bobby's ever tried to cover any of that stuff up. I mean, okay, so he's human. Women wanted to sleep with him. Boo. I mean, like, there's worse things. There's a lot of worse things out there. Obviously, he didn't kill anybody. Even the bear that he found on the side of the road, he didn't kill the bear. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
tried.
no, no, they really tried for anything that they possibly could. But yes, I'm confident that the direction that we're going is good, and obviously I'm confident about the products that you guys sell and produce out there. So I'm happy to be able to have you here. Listen, before we sign off, Patty, we've got to do our annual
Yeah,
or every monthly
monthly.
shot of C60 Evo here with ESS60.
I agree. Now, I don't do it late in the day, so I want to tell your audience, do it in the morning
Yep.
before noon, and it is still before noon. You do a spoonful or a handful of caps, and you will go all day long. I've already done mine in my coffee, but never hurts.
I did some
Cheers.
earlier, but I've got two more shows today, so here we go.
Whoop. Yeah, it's so good.
Then we'll
And
just.
I want to mention we also have avocado oil because I've been raving about the olive and the MCT coconut, but we also have this avocado, which is Roseanne Barr's very favorite because she makes daily avocado toast. And she basically puts the toast on a piece, puts avocados on a piece of toast and then covers it with ESS60 avo oil and some sea salt, starts her day. And God, does she look good?
Yes,
Doesn't she look
she
good?
really does. I think
Wow.
that also has there is the fact that she left Hollywood that has a big part to play in it too. She left Hollywood, she put all that garbage behind her, all of the negative energy, and obviously met you guys, and so now here she is, and she's looking radiant.
She is looking radiant. Well, I'm sorry to say that Ellen also left Hollywood, but for an opposite reason.
She went to go live with Rosie O'Donnell in UK in Europe or something like that. So they're both
Wow.
miserable as far as I can tell.
Well, there's going to be too much truth coming forward soon. And when that wall breaks and there's only influencers, and then George Soros's influencers and
Hmm.
little protest buses will be shut down and defunded. You know what's happening now? I live in Boulder, Colorado, which is one of the lowest intelligence places ever. Right now, we have all these PhDs, and PhD really means fricked,
Yeah.
my opinion. It just means fricked. Like you've been so programmed to believe things that aren't true that you're willing to go and protest in the street because your boss just got caught, getting money from US aid.
Yep.
For the people that don't understand what Doge has done for this country, which is absolutely remarkable, I can't feel sorry anymore because you're just not listening.
Hmm.
And you are the voice of reason. I'm the voice of reason. Everywhere I go, I choose to be polite, but God, it's hard listening to people do their hate speech or I mean, frankly, we should have a photo just saying, are you forgetting Rachel Levine, Sam Britton? Remember Sam Britton, who was in
Oh,
charge of our
the the
war,
the, the luggage thief.
the luggage thief
Yeah.
that was stealing women's expensive luggage? And they never arrested him, did they? I mean, at least he's not the head of war chemical storage anymore.
Yep.
But we had the worst absolute worst people. And cackling Kamala,
Hmm.
that they almost put her in charge for people to say, I wish it was Kamala. Today, tomorrow, and the next day, I have nothing to say
No.
because you guys are deaf, dumb, and blind if you don't see how important it is to support making America healthy again and
Amen.
making America great again and
Yes.
making America kind again. And what was the other one?
Make America safe again, make America wealthy again, all of them.
Yeah, but also like coming back to men and women because not only has the testosterone in men gone down 50%,
Oh, yeah.
but the one thing Bobby and I hope President Trump are doing right now, and this is going to be, I think, one of the bigger things that's going to help our health, is to get rid of the chemtrail program.
Hmm.
And in Colorado, I feel like we are the ones so deaf and dumb that we're saying, oh, Florida, you don't want to do chemtrails anymore? We'll buy your poison. Bring it on here. Ship it to us. We'll even cover the shipping. Like Colorado is doing cloud seeding proudly. And there's this young guy saying, I own the company. It's like, I don't think so. I
Yeah.
think it's Soros or Fauci or Gates
Or
but
DARPA.
or DARPA. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just a little pawn, with your little mullet haircut. But have you seen that guy with the mullet?
No, I haven't. No.
I don't mean Malay. I mean the guy that's pretending to own the cloud seeding.
Oh wait,
But
is that the Asian dude? He's got a
nope.
mullet and a mustache. Okay, because I saw him, and there was something like he was doing. So his company was doing it illegally, and they weren't doing like with planes. They were injecting like sulfur dioxide
Yes.
into the upper atmosphere in order to not for cloud seeding, but to like block the sun's rays. And somebody in the Trump administration was like, that's a toxic. Oh, it was Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin was like, that's actually a toxic substance and you're poisoning the earth. So we're going to look into your
He,
company.
he is good. I
Hmm.
really like him.
I do
I
too.
like Bobby. I like Tulsi. I
Hmm.
really like them. And a lot of people are going, oh, Cash and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino, they're not doing anything. You guys aren't looking.
No,
Yes, they are.
no.
They're working their butts off. It's just that this little problem was this big. I mean, everything is so deep and wide and funded. And I do believe that we are coming down on it, but that Fauci hasn't been arrested and the Bidens haven't been talked to, and that we're ignoring Fauci, that we're ignoring, we're not really. No, it's just what we can see. And priorities need to be for each person to take care of themselves
Hmm.
because if you don't have your brain in gear, you're going to go nuts now. And almost all the shows I do, yesterday, Penny Kelly, she speaks to a lot of very conscious people, and she said everybody's losing it. And I said, get everybody on Evo because we need to stop losing it. We need to be strong and steadfast and healthy. And
Absolutely.
I just had two hip replacements and I flew through it because I take C60 Evo. I just went to the skin doctor and she said, how old are these stitches? And I said, just a year. And this one is 9 months earlier, 9 weeks earlier, because I got them 9 weeks apart, the hip replacements. She said, I look at scars and stitches 5 days a week, 8 hours a day. I've never seen anybody heal like you. So, of course, in my purse, I'm like, can I please give you a sample? Patty, I'm a doctor, I'm not allowed. And I'm like, okay, Boulder, Colorado. Don't let your doctors evolve. But then there's my mom, 96. She just listened to her doctor after she said, I take this product from my daughter and it's really helping me. And then he goes, well, you really need to get a shingles and a flu shot. So she said, okay. I love my mom,
Oh,
but she still believes in old school doctors. And if we don't stop these programs, Bobby, please stop these programs.
yeah.
Poisoning seniors. I mean, I think that the government looks at them as clutter.
Mm. It could
Seniors.
be.
We're,
Yeah.
we're just clutter. I'm a senior. I'm going to be 72 the day before my mom turns 94
Oh, happy birthday.
you. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm anti-aging. I don't wear my glasses during the shows because I don't want to see my flaws. But I also Love just staying in the flow, and the less I see, the better I am. Even though I see pretty well,
Hmm.
it's not so precise. And I think of my mom at that age doing that many shots. She's had two hips replaced, two knees replaced, and one ankle. And she does every shot they'll give her. And of course, they're free
Hmm.
because the government wants to keep poisoning people.
Yep.
But she is still so strong, and her brain is still intact. And between me and my mom, with her being old and taking all those shots and surgeries from doctors that I don't know, but in my life where I was poisoned by uranium guy right here in Boulder, Colorado, and hit with a directed weapon 7 years ago, I'm in great shape now.
Yeah, you are.
And there's only one reason, and that's why I co-own the lab with these guys. We're making a product that is anti-aging and anti-death. I swear to God, people are living longer. Pets are living longer. And I want to say, I miss your stories about your kitty,
Yes, me too.
but
Yeah.
your cat lived to be 20.
Yeah. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. And she was like, up and moving around until basically the moment she wasn't. Like it was fast, I mean, there was no indication that anything was wrong with her up until, all of a sudden she just got real tired and then that was it. So,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah. So I'm glad
So I
that
was,
we were blessed with as much time as we had.
yeah, you were. So I told my daughter who's got two cats, I said, you got to keep doing the Evo because my friend, he just lost his beautiful, loving cat, Smokey, at 20. The cat was 20.
Yeah.
My daughter goes, Mom, Zumo's 20 and 18. And I thought, no way. So my whole dang family is like, we're all really kind of old, but we're not going to die anytime soon. And
That's brilliant.
yeah, I mean, it blows my mind. And when my family runs out of product, like we've got one for cats, one for dogs, it's basically the olive oil with an essence that the cats and the dogs love. With the cat formula, we put in salmon oil. With the dog formula, we put in bacon oil essence.
Mhm.
And it's all natural, but it's basically this, which is the number one product that we sell because it's been used in almost every peer-reviewed test on carbon 60 fullerenes and ESS60. So again, when we hear people make the claims that our lab received, and they're saying it's their company and they're buying crap from Wuhan, China. Oh, it is Wuhan. Yep,
Yeah.
it's coming from China, right next to the bat lab, probably, or in the hood. Um, I just, And somebody made this comment on a show recently where she said, oh, we saw this doctor. I started to tell the story, but I didn't get to the punchline. And she said that your C60 is toxic. And we said, well, maybe other companies that are getting it from Wuhan and buying their oils from who knows where. But ESS60 is not C60.
Hmm.
That's why we make it. So Chris replied to her with a real explanation of she was going into the paranoia of graphene oxide. And we're like, we have nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So there's
Totally
really
different.
unscientifically knowing people that are out there faking hate on C60. And we don't sell C60 other than to industrial labs. We sell ESS60 for people and pets that has received all the awards and accolades from every peer-reviewed test. My favorite other peer-reviewed test is that our product was tested on compared to vitamin C, and it was 125 times stronger than vitamin C as an antioxidant, peer reviewed. And another test showed that it was 172 times more powerful. I never get sick.
Hmm.
I just don't get sick.
It's a
So
brilliant thing.
there's
Absolutely brilliant.
many reasons to take the product: energy, staying well, longevity, and a brilliant mind. Not that my mind is brilliant, but it is stronger than it's ever been. And I'm old. So if I'm getting better with age, I'm going to keep drinking this product. And I'm just so proud to be partners with the only lab in the world making ESS60 with great integrity. C60 Evo.
Huge difference. And of course, as always, you guys can check out the link in the description below. It's c60evo.com/redpill78. And when you use that code redpill78, you'll get 10% off of everything, whether it's the single products or the gift baskets or the cases, which will also stack up discounts that you guys can get. And of course, you also have a 100% money back guarantee policy as well. But you're not going to want to return anything because everything is very high quality, and I think you guys are going to love it. So, Patty, thank you as always for being here. I really appreciate it. And everybody at home, don't forget, check the link in the description below. c60evo.com/redpill78. Get 10% off on a baseline, and then get even more off when you buy more. We'll see you guys.